America on a direct basis.
Gautam Mukherjee, thank you very much for joining us. Very valuable insights as always. We stay in the Indo-Pacific now, where Malaysia's communication minister has said that the trade minister and second finance minister will be going to the United States at the end of this month to discuss the US tariffs imposed on the country. Minister Fahim Fadzil said this is a result of the consensus reached among ASEAN countries to jointly address the US tariff issues. Meanwhile, Taiwanese chip-making giant TSMC said on Thursday that it has not detected any change in customer behavior since US President Donald Trump announced far-reaching tariffs on global trade partners and maintained the company's forecast increase for a full year of revenue. TSMC has also announced that its next profit rose 60.3% for the first 3 months of 2025. On the other hand, Chinese online retail giant Shein and Temu have warned that US customers that goods will get pricier from next week, that after President Donald Trump imposed hefty tariffs on goods from the Chinese. The companies have said they have seen the operating expenses rise due to recent changes in global trade rules and tariffs, adding they will make price adjustments from the 25th of April. This comes after Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell warned of the risk of slowing growth and rising prices due to tariffs on Wednesday, as uncertainty around US trade policies kept the dollar rooted near 3-year lows. US financial markets fell following Jerome Powell's remarks, with all 3 major Wall Street indices ending in the same day as in the red as investors dumped tech stocks. Powell has stated that this could put the Federal Reserve in the inevitable position of having to choose between tackling inflation and unemployment. Let's take a look at what he said.
The data we have in hand so far suggests that growth has slowed in the first quarter of this year from last year's solid pace. Despite strong motor vehicle sales, overall consumer spending appears to have grown modestly. In addition, strong imports during the first quarter, reflecting attempts by businesses to get ahead of potential tariffs, are expected to weigh on GDP growth. The administration is, as I mentioned in my remarks, is implementing significant policy changes, and particularly trade now is the focus. And the effects of that are likely to move us away from our goals. So unemployment is likely to go up as the economy slows in all likelihood, and inflation is likely to go up as tariffs find their way, and some part of those tariffs come to be paid by the public.
After the Japan-US tariff talks began in Washington, Finance Minister voiced concern over recent volatile market moves triggered by Trump's tariff announcements, saying they could hurt Japan's economic recovery. He said that they are deeply concerned that this could affect the global economy through various routes such as trade and financial markets. Cato plans to go to Washington next week for meetings of International Monetary Fund and the Group of 20. He stated that he will closely communicate with the US on currency issues, adding Tokyo and Washington have long agreed that excessive volatility and disorderly moves in currency rates are undesirable. This comes after Japan failed on Wednesday to secure any immediate relief from US tariffs, with Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba saying after his envoy held talks in Washington that future negotiations won't be easy. However, he also stated that Trump has expressed his desire to give the negotiations with Japan the highest priority. The Prime Minister called Akazawa's discussions in Washington frank and constructive, though he noted that there is a gap between Japan and the US when it comes to this. Let's take a look at what Japan Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba had to say.
中澤大臣からは日米協議の場でアメリカの関税措置は極めて遺憾であるということを述べ、我が国の産業や日米両国における投資、雇用の拡大に与える影響などについて、我が国の考えを説明をした上で、アメリカによる一連の関税措置の見直しを強く申し入れたと。でもちろん今後とも容易な協議とはなりませんが、トランプ大統領は日本との協議を 最優先としたいと、このように述べておられます。今回、次につながる協議が行われたと、このように認識をし、これを評価をいたしておるところでございます。
The Japanese Prime Minister has also said that he has decided that the talks will continue at the ministerial level and that he will visit the United States himself at the most appropriate time to directly meet with President Trump. Trump has said on his social media platform Truth Social after meeting Akazawa that the two men had made big progress. Let's move over to Europe, where high-stakes talks on the Russia-Ukraine war are set to begin in